my colleagues also from the organization, all of them. So this year perhaps is one of the pivoting year for Solix Technologies. As many of you know, Solix is focused on enterprise data management, and we started our journey in managing structured data, helping companies managing their structured data. Then we pivoted into enterprise data with the technologies like a big data and all of that. And the size of the deals when we were on structured data were hardly about $100,000, $150,000. We pivoted to big data. It started becoming $500,000 to $1 million, etc. And as we are now progressing with the coming of OpenAI and the GPT, all of a sudden we have the data and we have the AI platform like OpenAI or Chat GPT. We are now able to enter into not just optimizing the data infrastructure, we are also getting into monetizing data for enterprises. So that's a huge jump that we have done. And some of the customers like Citibank who are implementing this product all over the world, Sanofi, one of the pharma, a big large company, or Merck, or some of the insurance companies like the AIG Insurance. We have like a very large companies managing petabytes of data. We have built a platform where we can optimize data for an enterprise, whether it's optimizing on cost, optimizing on cloud, multi-cloud, hybrid cloud, etc., or governance aspects of the entire data. The rules are becoming very complex by country, complex by region, and number of rules are becoming fairly very complex. We're able to manage GDPR, CCPA, data encryption to all aspects of governance. We're able to manage. We have got several partners like Wipro, Accenture, HCL. All these companies have built a major practice on our product, and we are and some of the deals, some of our partners have gotten. One of our partners got a $10 million services deal on our product. So we are kind of really moving on to the next stage, and as we are going forward, we are going to get into the what Databricks and Snowflake are there, which is like monetizing the data, getting into the AI. So we are kind of really covering from IA to AI. IA is the information architecture to take it to an enterprise AI, and that pivot is happening at this point of the time for the company. And we have, from overall product perspective, I would say we have one of the. I would say we are pretty much one of the top three in the world at this point of the time in terms of data management. Customers from IBM are migrating to us. Customers from Informatica are migrating to us. Customers from HP are also migrating to us. Kaiser actually moved from IBM to Solix. Very large implementations are going on where we are moving them from IBM to Solix at this point of the time. So technology perspective, we are doing very well. We have got customers all over the world right now, in North America, even in Middle East, Asia, and Europe, fairly, and we are very smartly working with the partner ecosystem all over the world and expanding the product. And technology also, we're kind of really pivoting towards the data lake and monetizing the data. How in healthcare they can move from prescriptive care to predictive and preventive care in the healthcare. For instance, Kaiser or even Alberta Healthcare in the medical sector. Insurance also managing the entire data to get into the fraud management aspect as well. So we're kind of just pivoting towards that direction. I think next 12 to 24 months are very critical for the organization at this point of the time. And overall, At this point of the time, I think we've executed fairly very well with no major debts in the organization, P&L positive, cash flow positive, it maintaining one of the top company in the world. So that's Solix, and we're kind of really positioning as IA for AI or IA to AI, information architecture to drive the enterprise AI for an enterprise. And Veena, she's leading Imagia, and maybe Veena, you want to talk briefly about Imagia, what's happening?
Sure, Sai. Thank you, everyone, for joining. Again, esteemed board members, as well as management team members, as well as shareholders. It's a honor and a privilege to be in front of you and report the status of the company. From Imagia, this year has been a phenomenal year, as most of us are seeing. There is a huge upward trend on the digital transformation. And as you all have been seeing, the AI is the trend that is going in the positive direction. And Imagia, has been in the business of providing automated solutions for, finance organizations. Over the last 15 years, we have continuously grown this organization to, produce solutions that address, high volume, large enterprise finance operations. We specifically cater towards the order to cash, process automation, everything from the order management to credit management, collections, deductions, cash application, and customer payments. So we have a platform that is AI powered order to cash platform that automates every aspect of the order to cash process for large companies. Typically, many large companies, have several back office finance team members. Typically, either they're operating in house or they're operating in shared services, or they are operating through BPO companies. And a lot of times manual operations slow down the cash flow for the company, and the working capital access is slowed down. And Imagia is all about improving efficiency for finance organizations. And over the last 15 years, we have been continuously, announcing, new innovations and new products. Especially over the last few years, 2015, we started out our first, ML-based, machine learning-based solution, and from there, 2018, we introduced our first AI-powered, digital assistant called Gia, which is fully trained on order to cash. And then 2020, we released our document processing AI solution, which is called Gia Docs, which can read any bank statements or any financial documents like invoices, remittances, and any sort of finance document. So we have released that in 2020, and particularly this year has been a phenomenal year for us. We have released our first version of the generative AI solution, which is Gia GPT. What does this mean for finance organization? For finance organization, it means that just by making conversations, the CFOs and finance leaders will be able to, get a lot of insights from any of their financial systems by simply asking questions in chat, or simply asking questions, conversationally over voice. CFOs and AR leaders and treasurers will be able to get answers to critical questions. They will be able to get plots and graphs and other important information needed for them to make necessary operational changes within their finance operations. So we are again continuously giving efficiency solutions. And we've been recognized, for the innovations that we're making. We have recently, recognized by Gartner as one of the visionary in the space, and this is for the second year we stood out as one of the major innovators. Also, very recently, CNBC has selected us in the global, fintech, 200 across, all different areas of fintech and autonomous finance, which is the space that we are in. They have selected about 10 companies across the globe, and we are one of the 10 in the global fintech. So we're very proud of the innovations that we're doing. Very proud of the recognitions we're receiving, and coming to the top line and coming to the customer growth, we are seeing some exciting traction in the market. We have closed some really large, good customers such as Unilever, Staples, Honest Company, and and many others. And this year again, we're definitely seeing upward trend in the number of customers as well as the top line for the company. We have also entered some new industries this year. Traditionally, over the last few years, we have been in the manufacturing industry. We have been, in the services, pharmaceutical, logistics, kind of, industries. Majority of our customers have been, but this year we have definitely made some good progress. Went into the CPG sectors with CPG that opens up a whole new marketplace for us, and we're definitely seeing again traction with companies, very large companies like Unilever and Staples and many others. So it's an exciting time, and it's good to report that so far on our platform we have processed over $900 billion worth of accounts receivable and payments on this particular platform. We have processed, again, in about 90 countries, in about 25 different languages, and we're definitely seeing, some significant growth and significant traction. So excited about, what the possibilities of AI and the possibilities of generative AI, especially, opens up for us. We have also, recently set up a AI lab at Usmania University out in Hyderabad, and we are leveraging the talent in India and expanding our research and development facilities with the local talent out in India. And all in all, I think it's definitely going in the right direction. Over to you, Sai.
Thank you, Veena. Now, I now request Geetanjali Chupran to deliver the financial results for year 22-23.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
Mahendra Mahajan, please unmute yourself. Mr. Mahajan, please unmute yourself. Sir.
Yeah, I'm not able to unmute.
Mr. Mahajan, please unmute yourself.
Yeah, hello. Hello. Are you able to hear me?
Yes, sir. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hello everyone. Nice to see Sai and Veena. Yeah, thanks for giving me this opportunity. So I have a couple of questions. So what is the vision of Technvision in the long term? Because actually I am an investor in Technvision from last 8 years. Okay, so I have seen a lot of value creation for other businesses, but our business is very in the long term gesture. Actually, it will going to take a lot of time actually to make the profit. I understand that, and I'm investor from the last 8 years. Okay, so I would like to know the vision how we are going to make the profitable this company. And again, one more thing that I understand that we will make profit only when our top line will grow 30, 40 or 50%, but our expenses grow only by the half. And I think sooner that point will come, but we are waiting from last 7, 8 years. So I would like to know if that when that particular point in future will come. Another point is that our business model is similar to Amazon, where profit was not there, but there was cash flow growth actually. So operating cash flow was there in case of Amazon, and that's why they were able to reinvest that operating cash flow, and that's why they were able to create the wealth for the investor in long term, even though it was making the losses. But in our case, operating cash flow is also not that much good. So I would like to know how we are going to grow. Are we going to take any debt, or are we going to raise fund by the equity? Another thing,
Question, Mayan.
sorry, yeah. Yeah, so should I ask everything? Okay. Okay. So another thing, we are investing in product development. We are having great product team. Our revenue is very low, means as per competitor, if you see, but still we are just growing 30%, 25%. Okay. In the last quarter, actually, we degrow, and because of that, we make some losses. Okay. So what was the reason for that degrowth in the top line, especially? We are understanding profit growth cannot be happen at this stage, but the why the top line actually degrowth in the last quarter. And one more thing to Veena Agm actually. So Imagia's competitor HighDDS is there. Actually, it is also similar like NRI team, which is running, and they are having the revenue of 250 million. But when we compare the product quality of our Imagia product and the HighDDS, so there is not much difference. Maybe here or there, that is 19 and this is 20 or something like that, or if you, or maybe some little bit. Okay, but the revenue wise, Imagia revenue I see is only 1.5 million, and when the high radius is actually around 250 millions. So why that is? And the high, actually one thing I had noticed, that high radius is actually generating a lot of money by the white labeling. So what they do, that they give their product as a white label to the banks, and the banks have a lot of customers, especially commercial customers, and they give this product to them, and that's why they generate a lot of money. But in our case of Imagia, we are not doing. We are doing just with the tie up with the system integrator, and we are generating the revenue. And even HighRadius is also doing same, but they are also doing white labeling. So, is there any plan for white labeling in future for Imagia products? And one more thing, last one is that we are requesting the investor presentation for many years, but nothing happened. Can you please do that? And especially we are asking because our product, our company actually is not understood by the investor. So problem is that whenever we see the profit, or that the investor go ahead and buy those company or invest those. But in our case, we know that it is a little different. We are going to create a lot of good product and then monetize those, and it is going to take time. So but that communication is very important with the investor. So can you please start the investor presentation? Yeah, that's all. Thanks for giving me the opportunity.
So first of all, Mahindra, thank you for asking the questions. So let me go, item by item. So the first thing is, typically when you look at any product cycle, you're developing the product, and you're investing on the product development. Your revenue will be lesser, and or it'll be substantially less. So you will incur. Of course, we haven't really been incurring losses, but generally, your profits won't be large. We have been very carefully watching our revenue and watching our expense. Continue to invest that money very smartly in engineering is what we have done. That is the reason now we have a product, a world-class product that has a huge potential. Unfortunately, in a software game, it does take time. These are like enterprise class products, and all of that. So, of course, Amazon also did not happen over a period of few years. It took like a long time. They had a huge losses early, and once the product has become successful, now they can make any amount of money right now because you capture the entire market. So right now we purposely kept our product cost lower than IBM, HP. We built much more better functionality, and that is what really helped where IBM and HP and Informatica are getting out of the market. It took some time, but that is how the enterprise class product really takes time, etc. And we've also, post COVID, there's a major shift that has happened. Earlier, we were selling perpetual license. When we sell perpetual license, you get to recognize the entire revenue. Whereas now we are selling a 3-year cloud license. That means 1/3 revenue this year, 1/3 revenue next year, 1/3 revenue the third year, etc. So typically, any software company which moves from enterprise perpetual license to cloud, take like Adobe as an example. When it went from perpetual license to cloud, there was a uh, uh, they had like a losses to show at some point of time. Again, in general, I'm talking about, not specifically talking about any software company which moves from perpetual license to cloud, their revenue gets staggered, and that is the reason you will see this thing. But overall, our bookings are great. Our customers are like a longer run. We're getting more data on our platform. We're managing, earlier we're managing terabytes. Now we're getting into petabytes of data. We're having millions and millions of documents on our platform. And that is positioning us to get into the GPT, AI, and all of that stuff. So that is the transformation. And so we're carefully managing our growth, managing our cost, and so that is, should answer bulk of the financial questions. Does it answer any particular thing? It will take time. Once the bigger picture for Technvision is like what services companies have done back in India. On services, we want to do the same thing on products. So we already have like two products right now, both Solix and Imagia. Both are like a fairly very high value, and very large companies are implementing these products. Our partners are making much more money than what we are making right now. And sometimes the services is like a 10 times the product license. It is okay because we are establishing the product. Oracle also did the same thing. They, all these major SI companies were getting fed from Oracle, but now Oracle owns the product. Oracle owns the customers, and it creates a much more strategic value proposition with the customer and all of that. So we want to be what Infosys or Wipro has done for services. We want to be for products. Our first two products are this, and our valuation should be fairly very decent. I think when we sell one of these company, it should create like a lot of cash infusion into the company. Right now, our debt is zero. Our investment is also very, very practical at this point of the time. But once we have decent amount of capital in our own bank account, we can build more products, we can acquire more companies, and repeat the same thing what we are planning to do with Solix and Imagia. That's the overall strategy at this point of the time. We want to be product company, and we want to be able to, uh, you know, manage multiple software products. Is the overall big picture from the company perspective. And as far as Imagia is concerned, Imagia has been acquired from the venture capital. As you know, Veena was the founder of the company, and VCs took over. Then we purchased the company back from the VCs, and Veena did rebuild the entire company at this point of the time. And it's one of the top in the AI side. Even there also, the focus is more on the customer acquisition. And in software, it's a very cruel game. Number one wins, number two loses, and there is no, it's a very very complex value proposition. And Imagia has come, yes, the competition has got huge investment, and we are also trying to figure out our strategy. There is a Uber, there is a Lyft also, and so the same thing. Right now, High Radius is placed as number one, and if they're working with X bank, we want to work with the competition of the X bank with Y, is what we are trying to do. And very carefully, if you look at both Solix and Imagia, we are establishing, we are growing. Every year we are growing. We also have a fairly very decent growth expected this year as well. Again, we are moving from perpetual license to cloud. So the way we recognize the revenue is going to be different, and it might show lesser revenue, but our bookings, some of the bookings are $4 million, $3 million deal sizes, but we get to recognize only $1 million this year, or 1.2, next year 1.2, next year 1.2 kind of a thing. That's where how the finance looks at it. Overall, revenues are growing, bookings are growing, customers are growing, and we're investing all our revenue back onto the products. So that is the reason you don't see major profitability. at this point of the time, if you look at Databricks and Snowflake, their valuation is $43 billion and $70 billion. We are pivoting towards the direction. There's no point in creating profit. We'd rather invest the same money to pivot the company more towards that direction. Hopefully that answers all your questions, Mahendra.
Yes.
Certainly, and let me add a little bit on that particular front, Mahendra. Good questions, and as I think you've made the points around going into the banking side of the business, banking segment. We are in fact actively making those strides and actively engaged, with a couple of very large banks, and definitely going in that particular direction. And as I mentioned, obviously, I think there are companies out there that have raised over $500 million worth of venture capital money to gain half of that amount of revenues. And we are definitely with the kind of resources that we have, we are definitely going in the right direction and acquiring large companies. This year particularly, our acquisition of some of these large companies like Staples, Unilever, these are companies that we have acquired, moving, they have moved away from our competition and over to Imagia. So we're definitely seeing that shift in the market, and we are definitely going more towards acquiring companies in the CPG as well as white labeling into the banking side of the business. So we're definitely confident of seeing some good positive momentum in the coming months.
Thanks, ma'am.
Thank you. Over to you. Back to you.
There is
the
no
mod-
more registered speakers.
Okay.
I now request the chairman